that's how you get ghosts.
Well, how to get rid of them?
Oh, well, I don't have expertise in that one.
Your computer's still doing this thing. This is awesome.
Is it still doing this thing?
Oh, well, it was better. It was better for a moment.
Oh, was it?
And now it's not.
What are you talking about? It looks fine on my end here.
The video and audio not being matched up.
What? Usually I see that
Yeah.
on my side. I'm not seeing that this time.
Well, maybe it's my internet.
Maybe.
This is great.
I don't know. Something's wrong.
Something that, you could pretty much say that anytime ever and be correct.
Something wrong.
Is.
Oh, it's him for sure. All right, he's dead. Good. Finally, got him. Oh, no, he's back.
Oh yeah, good. It's it's a good thing we don't do this live.
Yeah, it's good thing we just edit that whole weird part out right there. That just nothing was happening. This is gonna be fun. All right. Finally, I won't have that guy talking over me this whole show. Well, while Stoop's in internet jail, I'll just go into it and tell you welcome to talking. Oh, he's kind of back again.
I'm back for a moment. Let's see how long it lasts. We're gonna try the old hotspot deal. Or the next.
Let's see.
Oh, yeah, let's just sit here in silence until it happens again.
I see you.
That's there good. Oh well, debatable.
This is better so far.
That's good. This is good. This is good so far.
Well, Stu, why don't we just, before you die again, why don't you tell people what we're doing here?
Oh, I can't wait for it to go out in the middle of my intro.
I could take over.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, days and thems, this is Talking Out Our Ass, the only bi-weekly talk show that sells a webinar on how to poop in reverse. Each 2 weeks or so, approximately, your hosts, Sam Reeves, alongside yours truly, Stu Kid, we come on here, and what we do is we run a talk show, an interview show, which isn't that interesting. What makes this one different is that we have a guest on, and we tell the guest to come prepared with a topic they'd like to talk about, and we tell them not to give us any heads up as to what that topic is. So then they come on, and we have to formulate an interview on the spot right here in front of you people, and you'll see us struggle and ask bad questions and probably hear me stammer and ramble about the government or something to fill time, and that by now. So good luck, have fun,
or don't.
Yeah, we can't tell you what to do.
You can email us at theallsportscene@gmail.com. All your hate mail, please. We will take it. We currently have none, which is very upsetting. We want more.
You don't have to keep saying that. You could just lie.
I want to put pressure on people.
I don't think that's how you do it. I don't think there's any commercials that advertise products that are like, no one's doing this, so you should buy it because no one's bought it.
I know how to get people to hate me. I'm pretty good at that.
That is your true talent.
That is a really good talent. So.
Anyway, you have a guest to bring on to this very professional show?
They're not with me.
I didn't imagine they would be.
Oh, well, that would be very odd.
Unless we're interviewing a dog.
We could do that. But
or your wife.
Only one dog. The other.
Oh no, we already interviewed your wife. Never mind.
We did interview my wife already.
I had to add that so nobody could toss a joke in there.
Ha! Thank you. I did bring a guest. we have a guest.
Good.
You may know this person from Sox on 35th. You may know them from Diamond Digest. You might know them. You may have played for them as they're coaching baseball. Who knows? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show 497-time Sox Math winner, Jordan Lazowski.
I wish it was that many.
How
Thank you
goes
both for
well?
having me on.
Thank you for joining us. How are you?
Oh, doing good. Once I finally settled down from some of the craziness the past few weeks of life, it's nice to be able to do something like this. It's a creative concept. You needed a more interesting person on here than me to get a really good show out of it. I looked at the first few guests and then I'm like, oh, those are some wide-ranging topics. And I look at me, I'm like, why am I next in line? But regardless, I do appreciate it.
Yeah, I asked Sam the same question, but you know, I don't run the show.
I get it. I get it.
You know, I like to keep people guessing.
I respect it.
Well, speaking of guessing, how many times did you win Sox Math before they unceremoniously yanked that segment?
Both too many and not enough. Like, you cross the threshold of like, this is getting ridiculous at a certain point, but also like there are times I'm like, oh, I should have, like, I was a couple seconds too slow, things like that. So like in a weird realm of way too many times to be like tracking it, but not enough times to be like, oh, I was the king of it at the same time, unfortunately. So
you're cleverly avoiding just giving the number. I know you know the number.
I don't actually. I've thought about it before,
There's
and
no
I don't
way.
know the number. I actually don't.
I like a trophy, and it's right above his head. Like,
yeah, because I would.
I
mean, I would have that number. That'd be like the first thing I whip out at parties. You know.
You know, maybe that's why I'm not the life of any party. I just don't have that one off the top of my head ready to go.
Guy doesn't even know how many times he won Sox Math. What a dork. Get him out of here, man.
I'm still mad that the one time Sam won, they wouldn't play his video. I'm never gonna get over that.
For good reason, but
well, debatable.
Debatable.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I didn't know.
For a reason.
A reason, yes. Not anything.
I'm sure there were some limitations. I'm impressed to see that somebody found the actual limit.
He didn't do, for the record, he didn't do anything wrong or offensive, or like, it's nothing he did.
No.
It's just bad timing.
Very bad timing. Literally 24 hours. Less than 24 hours of bad timing. That's okay. It happens. I only went twice. It's not a big deal. But anyway, Jordan, welcome to the show. So what would you like us to interview you about tonight?
So I thought about this.
Good.
And in thinking about it, I realized how few things I'm really like I know a lot about, or I'm passionate about, or interesting in even the smallest way, which was sad. And maybe we can have a therapy session at some point about it. But I'll stick with something that remains a passion of mine, and that's just baseball coaching in general. It can be whatever part of that you want to go with, but yeah, I had a bad realization that I'm not that interesting, so we're going with that.
Coaching baseball, totally fine.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if that was that a happy site? What was that? Anyway, well, he still figures out his internet.
This is why we don't do live ones.
Yeah, you know.
I'm gonna throw poor Duke under the bus. He's got like corn Wi-Fi out where he's living in Wisconsin. He is at least 15 seconds behind us. Sometimes it's incredible. So
that's a little different. So baseball coaching, right? Okay, so are you talking about, you want to go over all coaching, just in general, how to coach baseball, or what?
Any part of it. Yeah. We can go as wide range specific as you want.
All right. First question I'll ask is, do you have a preference of what you coach?
You mean like pitching versus offense?
Versus fielding, hitting, yeah.
So interestingly enough, I thought I was going to prefer hitting. Because growing up playing, I was a two-way, so pitching and hitting, but primarily hitting. But being a nerd, the pitching side of the game appealed to me a little bit more as I got older and started getting into it. So there was a time I thought I was going to be a hitting coach, right now I'm a pitching coach, and I think that is where I would like to stay. Definitely my preference, if it's given to me one way or another. It's a good question.
And what does a
Good
pitching
question.
coach do?
Yes, that is another good question. So pitching coach, there's a couple sides of it. Number one, there's your typical putting together a structure for what a practice plan looks like for the pitching staff. So some of that is you're practicing defensive work. Some of that is you're having bullpens, things like that. It's honestly at times hard to be a pitching coach, especially for guys who are only pitchers. Because on days they're not throwing, what do you do with them? And coaching high schoolers, when you're coaching guys that have nothing to do in high school, they find ways to get on your nerves and cause trouble and do all those sorts of things. So it's great at times. For me personally as well, outside of just practices, I call the game. I call pitches during our games. So that's always a constant battle with some of our pitchers. But that's kind of the other side of it. So there's the practice plans, just making sure guys have their off-season routines, things like that. Workout routines, throwing routines. And then in season is the practice plans, the bullpens, and all the fun stuff that goes along with that. Like, working on mechanic tweaks, working on pitch grips, things like that. So it's a lot of, there's the technical aspects of it, and then there's the game planning part of it, which is, okay, are there some scouting reports you can put together? Because I call pitches, things like that. So the wide range is a lot of things depending on the season, but also it's a fun challenge, I guess I'll say.
I might have missed this when I was dead. What age are these kids that you're coaching pitching?
I've coached anywhere from 11 and 12U all the way up through 17, 18-year-olds in high school. So I've run the gamut there. I have my preferences on who I'd like to coach, but every age I've coached.
And is this like for a high school, or are you like a coach for hire people, like a pitch lab kind of thing?
No, for high school. So Montini Catholic out in Lombard, for anyone who's in that general Chicagoland area, that is where I am the pitching coach at. I've also coached with some travel teams, with USA Baseball, part of their national team not development program, but identification series for their development program.
That's pretty cool.
So a very wide range, but mostly guys who are in high school or older.
How many of these kids, well, let me back up. How many years have you been at this high school doing this?
4 years, I'm going on 5.
Okay, in that time, how many of these kids have required Tommy John surgery?
None that I know of.
Then you're doing a good job.
That's what I'm saying. That's a big part of it for me too, like the health of it. Like, I pride myself on guys hopefully don't get injured. Like, I'm not, knock on wood, obviously, like it's not a perfect science, but I do pride myself on saying, like, with travel ball and all the things where kids are just throwing as much as ever nowadays.
Too much, right?
Yeah.
It's too much, right? Objectively.
Correct.
And I mean, I know that I'm certainly not in the first 1,000 people to say this, but it's to the kid's detriment that it's become so focused and so specialized that if you decide you want to be a pitcher, that's all you are from, whatever age you decide that through the end of your playing career. Whereas we have mountains of evidence that it's actually better for your long-term success in whatever sport you end up choosing to play multiple sports, to do multiple things, to not just throw all year round, right?
Right. It helps your athleticism as a pitcher as part of it. I think nowadays you'll see that your average pitcher isn't the Bartolo Colon body type as much anymore.
That's funny. Because you said athleticism, and the follow-up question that I immediately sprang up into my head was, are there any fat kids?
There are definitely still fat kids in baseball.
Pitching, though.
As pitchers, yes, as well.
Good. Good.
The adage mass equals gas still applies
Good.
in pitching.
Good. That's why I couldn't fucking touch 70 miles an hour.
Yeah, I every kid I coach is at least 5 to 10 miles an hour faster than me at any point. I was 75 to 78. Like, I was the kid they brought in after all the kids that threw hard because I threw off all the passes.
Oh no,
that was my job.
Oh, same, but it much even more extreme. Like the comparison that I always got was Shingo Takatsu, because I mean I was just a lot of flailing and deception and weird arm angle and stuff. And yeah, no, I don't think. I mean, I quit after sophomore year, but I don't think I ever touched 70 mile an hour even.
I remember there was like the whatever local newspaper did an article for like our preseason or every high school's preseason, and my coach said something. He's like, he doesn't throw very hard, but he frustrates hitters. I'm like, okay, thanks for the slight, but also I guess I appreciate it. Like, thanks for telling anyone who reads this I don't throw very hard.
Oh no, but... like all my coaches, teammates, anyone involved, it was not secret. Like it wasn't. Yeah. They weren't shy about it. Like, this kid is freaky as hell, and we don't understand how he's so effective. And laughing when I come out there, and all kinds of. There was a coach. There was one coach gave me a nickname Bird for some 70s pitcher that I can't remember now, who was very eccentric and weird and like talked to him.
I know who you're talking about.
Talked to himself on the mound and shit. Somebody old can tell me who I'm talking about. It's right on the tip of my tongue, but I don't want to try and fail.
Felix Hernandez.
It's way older than that. But yeah.
No, I get it. And I think every pitching staff still has one of those guys nowadays.
Good.
There's always someone that's funky, like,
because
in some way or another.
That's good to hear, because I'm obviously I have no connection to the youth game and how it's progressed since I left 17 years ago or whatever. But from what I see and what I see valued at the highest levels of baseball and driveline and all this stuff, I get the feeling that any quirks are just getting coached right out of these kids, and anything other than, like, if a kid isn't just throwing 90 miles an hour max effort every pitch, that they're just thrown it's either like adapt or you're useless to us. That wasn't a question, I guess.
Oh, did we lose him now?
Oh good. That's perfect.
Everyone's gonna drop like flies.
But you get my sentiment, right? Like, that's how it feels. And like, I just worry that a kid coming up like me, who like really cared about the craft of pitching and like really knew that he wasn't big or strong, so had to like really paint the locations and just hone in on accuracy and pitch mix and stuff. Those are always my favorite kinds of pitchers, obviously. And so I always, seeing the way that pitching has gone, at least in the major leagues, college and major leagues, it just seems like if you don't throw 100, there's no place for you.
Right. They're not looking for guys they're not looking for control guys anymore. They're looking for velocity with also control.
And, that always irritated me. That still irritates me sometimes. Like, my bone to pick with Liam Hendricks when he was very effective and on the White Sox was he did give up just a crazy number of home runs for a closer. Yeah. And I always just felt like, he was the embodiment of kind of just max effort every pitch. And like, it didn't seem like even he had any clue where the ball was going. It just kind of seemed like, I'm going to throw as hard, I'm going to get pissed off and, jacked up and just fire this thing as hard as I can somewhere in the vicinity of the strike zone. And like, yeah, that is because hitting a baseball is so hard, that is going to be effective a lot of the time. But it just kind of always seemed like he was guessing, like, I'm just going to whip this thing, and where the ball goes, the ball goes.
Well, that was pretty much why nobody wanted to take batting practice against me, is because I was such a wild pitcher. Like, I had no control of my stuff, and I would hit several It's just because I had no control.
Oh, see, what was always humiliating for me is like in games, like I had like I said, like pretty good control, but if one got away, especially like if I was throwing anything off speed, the kids on opposing teams wouldn't try to get out of the way. They would they just let it hit them and just because it didn't hurt.
BP up.
Yeah.
Oh, you survived.
This is what I get for making fun of Duke before we started the show. I want to be clear. Like I don't have good luck. Like genuinely. Like I think I'm the least lucky Irish person ever. And if it's got nothing to do with
luck. I control the weather.
That's true.
If I do things like make fun of someone, 5 minutes later I regret it. That is my life in a nutshell. What just happened right there?
Oh man, it's all good. We were just talking about how the development of guys throwing harder is a lot more prioritized over guys like painting corners and accuracy and things like that.
Yeah. It definitely is. But I do think there's also an element to that is getting pushed well recently, and that is like the uniqueness of like arm slots and things like that. The unique what makes you unique as a pitcher. I think if you want me to go on a little rant about like, oh, everyone yelling about nerds in the game, things like that, like I've attended analytics conferences in the past. Now I'm doing it from the coaching side. It's like there's still a very large emphasis on what makes you unique and what can we tailor to what you bring that's unique, while also understanding, yes, like there is a reason guys are chasing velocity. Like that is not going away. But there's still an element of, hey, what is going to make you unique at the same time that still remains in the game, even with the nerds ruining it, so on and so forth.
Well, and that's what I was going to ask is for you to kind of validate my just general sense that like that wave is already we're already on the other side of like the really hardcore like drive line push, the like, just max effort every pitch. Like correct me if I'm wrong. The feeling I'm getting is that finally like the science has caught up to, okay, there's more to it than just how hard can you throw the ball, and I don't know, do you feel like that's the case?
For sure. There's still an element of the harder you throw, the better off you're going to be. Like that just the harder it is to hit, all of that good stuff. Like
which is valid, especially in high school. That's valid.
Exactly. And it's not going away. I think what's nice though is I think it, again, I can only speak from the high school level, but you do see it. I can kind of speak to it from the college level as well, but you do see it still within the game now to where, yes, throwing hard, if you're just a typical 3/4 arm slot guy, yeah, go ahead. You try and max your velocity and we'll fit a slider curveball to it, whatever. Not necessarily like, hey, if someone comes in that's more of a sidewinder or stuff like, it's not like, all right, let's fix it so we're here and doing everything the same thing. I think some of that cookie cutter has maybe gone away, while still understanding, hey, these XYZ things make guys most successful. But at the same time, we're going to maximize what's specific to you as well.
Yeah, that's like you said, it's a good way to still keep someone's uniqueness while also giving them variations of what they can do with it. So where are you on the coaching scale of Don Cooper to Kurt Fetter? I'm everybody throw a cutter, or are you hang on, let me look at what you're doing and actually help you.
So it's actually really interesting. So I'll say a couple things about the spectrum of that. In terms of like pitch design, Chris Fetter side of the world. Like I am very like, hey, how does the ball come out of your hand? Like, where's your typical, what does your arm slot match up with compared to like other big league guys? Like I do a lot of research on like how does your arm slot compare to another big leaguers and how do they throw their slider, for example, or how do they throw their curveball? Finding pitch grips is actually one of the hardest things to do. It's like, hey, start with this typical curveball. Oh shit, that doesn't work. All right. I don't exactly have a Rolodex of pitch grips, but I know you do XYZ things that are similar to this pitcher. So let's see how they grip it and maybe make fine tuning things off of that. Where I'm a little bit more I guess, Don Cooper side of the world. And maybe that sort of old school mentality, which I never maybe thought I would be when it comes to making pitching changes or things like that. I'm a pitching coach primarily, but some of the travel stuff I do, I'm a head coach. So I'm making that decision on whether or not to pull out a guy. And I'll find myself sitting there. It's like, hey, maybe I'll track. They'll have like velo and stuff. Maybe they're a tick or two down on the radar gun. Maybe the ball is getting hit off them a little bit harder hit. Now we're in a jam. Oh, let's just see if he can get out of it. This is my guy. I'm going to trust my guy here. Like, all signs probably point to me pulling him out in hindsight. But then there's those times where they prove you wrong and they get that out, or they prove the numbers wrong. They get that out and kind of verify what you did. So that's where I found myself being a lot more old school, I guess I'll call it. But it's really not old school. It's just more so, hey, you understand what the numbers say, but I'm going to do this anyway. Like, I'm not avoiding it, but I understand if it goes wrong that there was something that, hey, it probably should have stopped me. I just didn't listen to it.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm constantly bitching about that. I wish the major league managers, some of them, had more of that, like, just feel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not really possible to quantify, although I think there's still stuff that can be quantified that hasn't been. But
Right.
Sam has heard me talk about this probably ad nauseum. But when you bring a guy in, and you know, let's say there's an out in an inning when you bring in a reliever. This reliever throws 5 pitches and gets those 2 outs and gets out of the inning. Fucking, if he was obviously on, send him back out there.
Right.
Because bullpen is such a crapshoot, not only from season to season, but from day to day. You're spinning a roulette wheel every next pitcher you bring out there. You're increasing your odds that one of those guys just doesn't have it today.
So that's actually an argument I've had very vocally with some of our coaches at times for that exact reason. It's like, there are times like, well, he's our closer, so we're going to go to him.
But it's like, use your eyeballs. Like, if a guy is clearly feeling it, it's his day.
And there are times and that's the exact conversation we've had where it's like, okay, I'm not married to the idea of a typical closer. Like, I got guys who I want to get those out more than others, but I see what I just saw in front of me. What I think I see for the next guy, or what I think I know about this guy, I don't know if he has it that day. And we've won games where I'm like, we shouldn't have pulled him, and we pulled him, and we won that game. There are games that we've lost because it's like there needs to still be that feel for the situation. And that's something you can't get, and I've learned it now having coached a little bit. That's not something I can get in any other world unless you're in that dugout, part of that decision, or making that decision yourself. That is a rough thing to have to do. And it's crazy looking back at all the times that you say one thing or another when you're watching a baseball game. You're like, oh, he should have done this. He should have done that. And it's like, even on a much smaller scale of high school baseball compared to Major League Baseball. But you have to do it on that similar scale with the same conversation you and I just had. It's like, hey, well, I see what's in front of me. He just mowed through a couple guys. Just leave him in, even though he's not our closer. Like, whatever that ends up meaning.
How much emphasis at your level is placed on the righty-lefty matchup thing?
Not as much, for a couple reasons. Number one, we don't have the luxury usually at the high school level of
you got one lefty if you're lucky.
Exactly. That's
right.
We had one lefty last year.
Right.
But also, if we have that opportunity, I will say, when I've had that opportunity, whether at the high school level with some of our other teams, or some of the travel teams, where, you know, when you put those teams together, you're looking for lefties and things like that. You're being a little bit more specialized. It works a lot more at the younger levels because the lefty hitters will see a lefty on the mound.
They never see a lefty.
Exactly. I'll be like, all right, 3 curveballs. Let's go to the next batter. And it works. So, like, the emphasis works when you have the availability of those players, because at that level, the lefty hitters, for as good as they are, they don't see left-handed hitting enough to make it count.
Right. Whereas you can agree or disagree with the statement. I feel as though in the major leagues, it's treated by most managers around the league far too much as law that if I've got a righty up and there's a lefty coming up to the plate, this guy can't face that guy. Like obviously as a general rule of thumb, yes, I understand, a righty has a better chance of getting out a righty left, because of where the ball is coming from. But I feel as though it's treated as far too much of a given. Like, oops, like this guy just can't face a lefty,
Right.
Do you feel that way, or am I yelling at clouds?
At the major league level, yes. I think there is an emphasis, like, and even just the flip side of it too. Like, I have to bring in this guy to face this guy because lefty righty matchups. Like,
it's like automatic. It's like there's no thought given to it.
It's like, just find me the guy that gets guys out. Like,
right.
If it happens to be a right-hander who can get lefties out, then just bring him in. Like, you don't want to. You get to the major league level or even to the college level, you're able to hit both-handed pitchers. Like,
right.
It's like there's enough time. Some don't do it very well, but if they got one shot at it, they can probably figure it out. They're not going to be completely lost. At the high school level, yeah, if I can. I did it this weekend, actually. I knew the lineup had a couple lefties coming up, switched to a lefty, and it's like, yeah, just throw the slider 9 times. And let's get out of this inning. Because at that level, you just don't see it enough.
That's a good way to look at it, especially for the younger people. Like,
right.
Wait, that kid's throwing with the wrong hand. What do we do? Well, that's a good question for Tina. How many pitchers are usually on a high school team?
I always say never enough. I yell about it every year. We have 12 to 13 different players pitch in a season.
Right, and they all also have set, other defensive positions, I assume.
Right. We only truly have. Oh God, the guys will get mad at me if I name a number of POs because none of them are POs, of course. We truly have like 3 technical POs per season. With the rest mostly being two-way guys, or we need like 5 innings from the rest of the season from 2 different guys who really aren't pitchers, but we're getting blown out or we're blowing someone out and we're just gonna add the guys. But yeah, typically a team will only have 3 like true POs. And now my team can scramble to figure out which 3 I'm talking about right now because they'll all love it because no pitcher wants to be a PO. Even though it's like, I tell guys, like,
parole officer's not a fun job.
Right. There you go. But I tell them, like, guys, sometimes it's your best path to college. Like, at a certain point, they're going to tell you to put down that bat and worry about development. But yeah, 12 to 13, but I can say maybe 8 get the majority of the innings.
And so you mentioned, like, looks from colleges and stuff. How, like, what percentage of the kids that have come through your program are that serious about it where they're trying to play at the next level?
It depends on the year. We have usually around 10 seniors every year, I'll say. Some years we send 6 to 7 off that play college ball at some level, D1 through D3. Last year we sent 2. So it just depends on the class. This upcoming class will probably actually be a little bit higher. We'll probably send closer to that 6 or 7 number again. It just depends. Some guys, like when I played, our group really had no desire to play at the next level. Like we knew what we were. I tell myself all the time, like, I was a D3 athlete, but a D1 student, like, which is probably the smart thing to do at the end of the day. And a lot of guys, when I played, felt the same way, or my class felt the same way. Other classes, everyone I've coached is bigger, stronger, faster than I was. And if I were that big, strong, and fast, yes, I would think a lot more about playing at the college level.
Right. The college level scares the hell out of me, though, man, just because they're still using these aluminum bats, and it just, gosh.
It's a job, though, too, is what it is. I try and tell guys, like,
yeah, no, especially like D1, but all these collegiate, athletics are, like you said, like, especially if the school's giving you any kind of scholarship for it, that you're
exactly,
that's just your full-time job.
it's the scholarship part. Like, hey, you got to keep your scholarship year to year, because there's someone there, especially with the transfer portal being so big now. There's someone they're pulling in to take your
Mm,
job, essentially.
mm.
And those guys who go the D3 JUCO route, they're trying to they're trying to be one of the guys in the transfer portal who goes
Right.
and takes a D1 player's job. We've had guys that are like, hey, you get there and they're like, you tell them, like, but again, they're 17, 18 years old. They don't listen to you. It's like, it's a job. And then they get there and you talk with them. They're like, yeah, it really is a job. I'm like, yeah, I told you. Like, I didn't play at that level, but I worked for a team at that level. Like that was, I could see the guys coming in for the 6 a.m. workouts and having to be there and tracking things at times. And yeah, I didn't go on the road or anything like that, but I knew enough about what was happening with the team. And then I'm like, dudes, it's a full-time job. And thankfully, like, I was able to learn it without doing it. But a lot of them learn the hard way too. Like, you're at the top of the world. It's no different than the academic side. I explained it to him, like, you go off, you're in high school, like, you're the valedictorian or you're the best baseball player, you're at the top of the food chain. You go to college, you're at the bottom and everybody's as good as you now. What are you going to do when shit doesn't always go your way? Some guys flame out, some rise to the occasion. And it's fascinating to kind of see who does what at the end of every year.
I'm so glad I never had that problem.
Yeah, same.
Was never the best at anything, so that was always just a real burden lifted off my shoulders.
I was
You gotta love that, though.
like best.
You've mentioned a couple times now you're calling for sliders, you're calling for curveballs. What in your field, which is quasi medicine, right? So there's scientific aspect to it.
Mhm.
I guess this is two separate questions. One is, what age are you seeing kids start to seriously throw anything other than fastballs, and what is generally considered right now like the age at which it is physically acceptable to do so?
Yeah, those are good questions. And I will say a lot of times it ends up depending on the size of the kid. And what I mean by that is, like, okay, there are 12U kids that I coach that are what you think of as a 12-year-old. They are short, they are not strong. Their curveball is just like it's nothing. Like,
I'm throwing a ball really high in the air.
yeah, exactly. Like, I'm like, all right, yeah, you throw a curveball.
It's a drop ball.
Or yeah, or like the change. They'll be like, I have a change up. A lot of kids will say fastball change up. So it's not so overly prevalent at the younger age that everyone has a curveball. A lot of kids at that age will tell me fastball change up.
Because I just remember like getting yelled at by coaches
Mhm.
and my father for like screwing around trying to throw breaking stuff and them being like, you're too young, you're gonna fuck your arm up, kind of thing.
Yeah, I remember when I was younger, it's like, I think in Little League when I had played
Yeah.
at the time, it was still illegal to throw curveballs. Like,
Right.
umpires would be looking out for it. It's like, do not do this. Which is good that you still see parts of that. It's really when you get to that 13, 14-year-old age that now the kids get a little bit bigger. Yeah, there are still a lot of just fastball changeup kids because the average 13-year-old is not that big and strong. There are some giant 13-year-olds and 14-year-olds that I've coached that, yeah, I've got this two-seamer that runs, and they'll tell you, two-seamer that runs 17 inches horizontally, and I got a slider that goes along with it. I'm like, all right, let's see it. And it's legitimately that good. I'm like, oh my God. Like, I had no chance at any point in my life to be this good. So by the 13, definitely 14-year-old age, it's everywhere. And to be fair, I do think there are very few kids that I come across that there's like the grip there. I'm like, that will hurt your arm. Because there are those. And I'm like, who in the hell taught you to throw a baseball like that? So there is still a lot of that. But I do think that most of the grips, there's this emphasis on like throw everything as hard as you can, like just normally how you throw your fastball kind of too. There's not a whole bunch of like turn your wrist really hard anymore. Like all the old adages that used to be said about that. There's not a lot of teaching of that anymore. And I think that helps to where I don't typically see kids that are like, I throw this pitch and it hurts my arm. Now, have I tried things with guys like that felt funny? I didn't like that. Let's scrap that. Let's never throw that grip again. Cool.
Because you're not throwing it hard enough. Throw it harder. It'll feel better.
Exactly. Like, don't like twist your arm even harder, snap the wrist even harder. Like, you don't see that as much, which is good. But then it becomes, getting kind of to the, I think, meat of the question within your question of like, then it becomes more of that injury factor comes from just the pure overuse of it all. At least in my opinion. So,
but I'm intrigued by this theoretical child that says I have this pitch with 17 inches of run. For him to, for him to, first of all, it sounds like you've got a radar gun at every game, which we definitely didn't have. That's wild. And, obviously just like the amount of information that's available is crazy, but for a kid to come in and know that specific information, that means he's gone and worked with a professional somewhere. Is that just like the norm now? Are all these kids going to some private training thing?
Yes and no. So what I will say is at the high school, we have a Rapsodo at Montini. Hey, if we do camps with stuff and guys, then the 13-year-olds coming to Montini will have that, for example, or our pitching staff will have that. Guys who are interested in it, yeah, I'm happy to teach them more about it. I've also had players who are like, I don't give a shit about that. Cool, fine. I will use it, but you don't need to know anything about it, but I will continue to use it. Where those typical kids do come in, though, is travel baseball. There is a TrackMan or something pretty much at all of these these mega baseball facilities now. And what I mean by that is like the complexes. Like
Right.
There's 10 to 15 fields there, and they all have some sort of tech to them. All of the big tournament companies, Perfect Game, PBR, Prospect Select, whoever you want to call out, that goes as low as the 13, 14-year-olds to where they come and they know it now, because all that information is made available to them. There are pros, there are cons. The travel baseball world, I think, has far more cons than pros, if you'd ask my opinion. That being said, you almost have to come to accept it at this point and do your best as a coach to say, this is what kids need to do to play good competition, to at a certain point in their development, have colleges come and watch them. But you need to do your job as a coach in making sure they're not doing something to the detriment of their long-term health. Because it's terrifying for me I have no control after the high school season ends. They go off for 4 more months of pitching, and I don't know what the pitch counts are. I don't know what their pitch limits are. I don't know how many times they've thrown. I know nothing. All I can do is give them as much as I can and check in with them. That's what's terrifying to me. And
then do you get a text in the middle of summer like, hey, Johnny just fucking snapped his arm?
Haven't gotten that yet, but then I also get to the point to where I haven't not gotten that. We have gotten that before, where guys will get hurt in summer ball. But they'll come back and like we'll do fall. Like our final thing for Montini is we'll do a fall kind of stuff going on where it's like, hey, if you're not in another sport or you don't got anything going on, it's like it's all optional. Come out, have a good time. Before guys kind of shut it down for the winter. And a lot of guys will be like, oh, my arm hurts. I'm tired. I threw this many innings. It's like, I can't do anything. It's like, all right, which is fine. But I'm trying to figure out how you got to this innings number when you threw 15 innings for us. And now all of a sudden you're at 55 to 60 for the year. Well, how did you get those other 40 in the last 4 months? Like, that's still mildly concerning me. I've coached guys who are like, I threw 80 to 90 this year. It's like
Yeah,
that.
because
that's
he's the stud on the travel team, making literally every single start.
exactly. It's as often as they can run you out there as the pitch counts allow them to, they will do it. And
Do you ever have any? Do
bleed
you ever
my
have
eyes.
communication with the managers of those teams, or
No? So what I've done with guys is I'll threaten. So my favorite thing to do is I'm like, listen, we had a guy who was coming off of just some shoulder fatigue, essentially, which was basically from overuse. I'm like, dude, stop lifting so much. Scale it back. Pitching is a lower half activity anyway. Like, yeah, it doesn't mean you can't do your bench presses, but you're not trying to be a bodybuilder. So
right? And if you're
cool
gonna
it
lift,
off.
prioritize mobility over just like
Correct.
building muscle. You need to be floppy.
But then you don't look as good for all the high school girls that you're trying to get. Like trying to reason with a high school age
Yeah, no, I get it.
teenage boy is a losing battle every time.
I want to look
but
like
I
Gals
can't say I
Keuchel in
didn't
Sports
try.
Illustrated.
Yeah, it's like, how am I going to get on the cover? And it's a losing battle. But I've had guys where it's like, hey, they're coming back from injury. I'm like, hey, you need to tell your coach, for the next month or so, once a weekend, 60 to 70 pitches max. And like, that is max. And he goes, I don't know when I'm going to start, things like, and it kind of like, it's like not going to tell his coach that. I'm like, you tell him, or you give me his number and I'll tell him. Like, I don't have a problem doing that. And he's like, no, I'll tell him. I'm like, yeah, we'll see. Game Changer tells me everything now. So if you didn't tell him, I'll know, because I'll find your team, see how many pitches you threw, and then we'll have a problem. So I
forgot about Game Changer. That's such a crazy.
Oh, and it's also just stupid. It's like guys will tell me, oh, I'm hitting 350 over the summer. It's like the little ground ball error that your dad marked as a hit. Like, give me a break. So,
The
but
likes me a lot.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, all right. I've had games where I'm the coach and some parents doing the game change. I'm like, we didn't make just one error. We had like 6. And it's like, all right, where did the other 5 go? Oh, we counted them as hits. Okay, whatever.
So everyone who you led me beautifully into this. Everyone I've ever talked to who coaches or officiates youth sports has parent stories.
Yeah.
So how have your interactions with these parents been over the years?
Let's start with high school. High school's great.
Because you barely see the parents.
Awesome. Well, it's not only just that too. I think there's a level of understanding that they get. And that's kind of the USA baseball stuff as well, has kind of been the same way. The parents get it. This is a different level. I have less control over this. There's a lot less of, I paid for this, so therefore my son has to do this. Travel baseball, wild west, especially when they see a young, I'm 5'9", like young, smaller coach, like, I'm going to eat this guy to shreds. The problem is I have a loud mouth and I am not afraid to tell you what I think. That has led to plenty of arguments over playing time, over, like pulling pitchers, things like that, or where a guy's playing, or certain strategies on the base paths, things like that. I have so many arguments.
Give
over
me
that.
Just the first anecdote of this genre that comes to mind. What's the closest you've ever been to physically fighting a parent?
Oh, so many times. I think it's my favorite one probably is I had just started with this team. I barely knew, these guys. So there was a parent that was particularly helpful. And in the middle of the game, I still don't know this team. Remember, I'm still learning the guys, trying to figure out what guys got. I pinch hit one kid for another. The parent essentially says, you can't do that. I'm like, I'm gonna do it. This is happening. He's like, you're gonna get pushed back because parents they pay a lot of money to come down here. They want to see you try and win. I'm like, I'm trying to win. Like,
that's
hello.
why I'm doing this.
Yeah, that's why I'm doing this. I want to see what this kid's got. Maybe he's got it, and because the other kid doesn't have it right today, doesn't mean he's not a good baseball player, but he's 0 for today. So we're gonna try something else today. And he's like, "Well, you're gonna get parent pushback." I'm like, "They got an issue. They can tell me if they have a problem." He goes, "Well, I have a problem with it," and walks away. I'm like, "What the? This is like day 3 on the job for me." Sure enough, the bases were loaded. The kid hits a pinch hit, bases clearing double, and I just look at him. I'm like, all right, this is stupid. Like this should be the last argument we have on these topics. Like,
I'm
and
guessing it was
again,
not.
no, it was not at all in any way. Parents, I get where the parents are coming from though. My concern always is, and it's kind of the nice thing, and probably why I say I'll never coach my own son. I'll be the dad who sits behind the outfield fence with his lawn chair and calls it a day. Because you can't turn the parent. A lot of parents struggle with turning the parent brain off. I don't have a son on the team, so I can take the objective perspective. I want to win, but I don't view one kid more favorably than the other. So I can turn that side of the brain and be fine. Parents, a lot of them can't do that. And I get it always comes from a good place. Like I'm not bashing any of the parents I've had those sorts of interactions with, because I get where they're coming from. I know how my parents would want to see me win and things like that. That being said, an inability to turn the parent brain off is what creates the issues from my very limited experience coaching. And I get it. You want to win. There's a lot of time and money and travel spent to go to some of these tournaments. I want to win too, but I'm not going to do it at the expense of player development and just learning these guys.
Right. This is still youth sports.
This is still youth sports. Again, I am a youth and high school baseball coach. I am not a college or professional coach. And I think the more they remember that, and maybe the older I get, maybe they'll stop looking at me like, oh, this is a kid I can absolutely just wipe the floor with. Because I'm not like that.
Yeah, but it's funny because this guy didn't even like bring out the hammer or the driver, you know, to he didn't set out, like he didn't wipe the floor with you. I hate this guy. Well, you might not want to do that. Some parents might have a problem with that. You know, and as soon as you said that, the first thing that came to my mind is, oh, this guy has a problem with it.
Right.
But so it's like just what are you doing? If you're gonna like have this interaction with me, don't be a pussy.
Right. Like, my thing is just I just got here. I know it's coming from a good place, but I'm in charge.
Part of what you're paying for when you're paying your kid, when you're paying for your kid to be on the team, you're paying for someone else to coach your kid and make decisions.
Correct. And that age is a hard age too. Like anywhere from 12 to 14 is a really hard age for parents, I think, because that's the first age when a lot of times dad isn't coaching anymore. We have moved past that phase in life. And that's on top of the parent brain not being able to be turned off. That is a hard thing to accept when they bring in somebody else. Like, why are we bringing this 28? What does this kid know? We can just have this guy coach. Like he's a dad. He's been around the game for a while. Like just have him coach. And that's a constant battle that has to be fought. Like I said, from 12 to 14. It's not just me. I guarantee you every coach at that age has stories just like that.
Right. And again, it's like, no, Bill, you sell insurance. Right. This is my job.
Right. I don't want to come across as, oh, these parents suck so much, because they don't. There's a lot of parents that I have had such great interactions with coaching. I am very fortunate to have had so many. But at the same time, it's like, I understand where you're coming from, but it's time to take that step back. And you're going to have to be okay with it, because this is what this team has been set up to do.
And you know what? If you can't, self-aware, obviously none of these people have self-awareness, but if they did, if you find yourself being consternated about decisions involving your kid, maybe you don't need to be at every game then.
Right.
Take some off. Like, they got it.
Right. My thing is, again, it's why I, at this point, I'm like, if I'm coaching my kid, I can't be like this. But I would probably prefer not to coach my own kid, at least up to a certain point, simply because like I've seen how ugly it can get, and I don't having had the experience on the coaching side of it. I never want to be the parent who does it. And you'd think, hopefully, 15 years from now, 20 years from now, whatever, I remember these experiences and maybe still coaching, and it's like, okay, you know where you were before. Don't be that guy. But you never know what happens. So
All right, now the last one from me off the top of your head. What's the maddest you've ever been at either a kid or a parent?
oh, I thought you were gonna say umpire. Now I gotta think for a second. Umpire I had right off the top of my head, and the problem was I was wrong. Kid or a parent?
Either a player did something that, you told him not to do that pissed you off, or one of these interactions with parents and you were like, I might follow that guy to his car.
I think I'm gonna go with parent again. Because the kids when I get frustrated at them, it's like they're not listening, or they're like making a joke, or I say something and it's like get your head out of the gutter, essentially. Like there's a phrase.
Oh, that's sus, bro. Yeah.
Exactly.
Shit like that, yeah.
I'm like, and it comes with the territory of coaching 14 to 17-year-olds. It's like
right.
age sucks a lot.
Right.
So mad for me, for them, I always have to keep in check.
Sure.
Parent, it was when it was essentially insinuated that, like, I don't want you to hurt my kid. Things like, same thing with the pitching thing, like overuse or something like that. And like a lot of these tournaments you go to, it's the wild, wild west when it comes to pitch counts. Like I follow high school guidelines wherever I go, no matter what the tournament. If the tournament has rules, yes, I follow those first. But a lot of times the tournament will say no rules, just be smart about it, which great, cool. I will follow typical what Illinois' high school requirements are. So the insinuation of a parent basically saying like, you're going to hurt my kid because you're not doing the right things, I lost my shit. Because that's not, again, there are the things I pride myself on as a coach. One of them is I don't want to hurt any of these kids in an era where it seems like kids are getting hurt more than ever. The fact that you would insinuate that I would even consider doing that, I lost my mind. And that was the most frustrating one, because again, the kids you get mad at, whatever. Like it comes with the territory of the age I'm coaching. The parents, the decisions I make on the field, like whether to hit a kid here or playing time, even those I understand. It's when you're like,
hit
you're
him.
gonna
You could hit the kid or send him up to bat.
Right. It's like it's the ones where you say you're gonna hurt my kid. Lost my mind. Absolutely lost it.
Yeah, well, now I am, because you're pissing me off. Now
I'm sitting there, I'm like,
yeah, look what you made me do.
Yeah, that was the maddest I ever got. And then I'll tell my umpire one. I was dead wrong. It was my first year of being a coach. More of a hothead than I am now. And there was like a fly ball, bases were loaded, fly ball to right field. So we're in the field, guy's tagging, comes home. Out of the corner of my eye, I see the guy between first and second. I'm like, just tag the base. He went too far. He never came back. And they tag the base. The umpire calls him safe. And I'm an assistant coach. I'm not even a head coach doing this. So I'm like talking back and forth. I'm like, he tagged, like with the ball, the first baseman tagged the base. He's out. Like he's out. And he kept telling me, he's like, no, he tagged up. And like in my head, I'm like, he didn't fucking tag up. He was right in the middle of the two bases. I'm like, what do you mean he tagged up? And then it dawned on me about, and our head coach was like, and Jordan, be careful. I'm like, I got it. I walk out there. I keep arguing with him. About halfway through the conversation, oh, he means the kid was on first base or went back to the bag, went to advance, saw the guy at second didn't advance, so he was coming back. So in that case, yes, you have to be tagged. I went, oh, and walked away. And an inning and a half later, I was dead wrong. An inning and a half later, I go to this umpire. I'm like, I just want to let you know, I am so sorry. I was so wrong, and I was in the heat of that moment. I didn't understand what you said to me. He goes, I don't think I've ever had a coach apologize to me for arguing with me. I'm like, yeah, because I was dead ass wrong. Like, if I'm wrong, I will absolutely admit it. It's when I'm right, and I'm like,
I mean, it just makes you better than like 99% of all
right.
men.
And that's what I'm saying. Where it's like, I'm pestering you. Like, if I know I'm right, I'm gonna go off on it. In this case, I was like, I am right. I'm gonna go off on it. Realized I was wrong. Jordan, time to shut up and walk away. And that was great. We had the guy like 2 or 3 more times that year. He'd always make fun of me. And he was a great dude. I think he was a Sox fan too. But that was the maddest I've ever been as a coach. And I'm like,
when you were setting the story up and you were like, I was wrong, I assumed I was gonna have to ask, like, when did you realize you were wrong? Like, drive home, or like,
mid argument.
Literally, you're yelling at the umpire and you just stop yourself and go, oh, all right.
Yeah. I
go,
go,
never
it's
mind.
Like,
I'm
light bulb went on. I'm like, oh, now I know what you're saying, Jordan. Shut the fuck up and walk away.
God. How did the kids react to that?
They were like, what were you arguing about? And I explained it to them, and they laughed. And the head coach even laughed. Because like the head coach should have stopped me. He should have been like, Jordan, he tagged first. It's fine. He was just letting me go. I'm like, why did you stop?
He seems convinced. You know what? I'm gonna let him go.
Yeah. Like I said, sometimes I get when I get on something, like you can't shut me up. And then I'll realize I'm wrong. I'm like, oh shit.
Whoops.
Like
8 months later, I wake up in bed in a cold sweat. Oh my God, I was wrong about that argument.
Yeah.
That I wish it had been that. In this case, it was mid argument. I'm like, this is not a good look for me.
That's
as
awesome.
I'm starting as a coach in my first year doing.
Blue, I want to Blue, strike from the record that I called your mother a whore.
Yeah.
I've never met her.
Can we just pretend this didn't happen? And
Let's just erase this last 30 seconds.
I'm like, I hear what you're saying, but I'm like, and then I go, but like on the 20th time you told me, my brain finally processed what you were telling me.
But that's a good lesson to get early on in your coaching tenure.
Yes. And I always go up to the umpires like before games and stuff. I'm like, they're like, hey, if you have a problem with a call, like come up to us. I'm like, I have no intention on arguing with you today. And I have kept myself to that.
I actually brought a megaphone today for such an occasion.
Yeah, it's like, because especially with travel ball and stuff, it's like, what are you going to do? Yell at him? He's going to change the call? It's not going to happen.
Right.
So I let the parents do that. And he always says, like, keep your parents in control or I got to toss them out. I'm like, actually,
awesome.
if you ask me real fast, like,
awesome.
I'll name 5 and you can toss them. Like, do me the favor, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, since that day, I've kind of left the argument. And I'll say some off comment and like yell about like where a pitch was at because I'm a pitching coach. Like,
yeah, of course.
I'll say that every once in a while. Or mumble under my breath, maybe a little bit.
Where was that one? That's common. I mean, everybody's gonna say, where was that one, Blue?
Or I'll just mumble too loudly, and our dugouts are close sometimes, so they'll like shoot me a look like I heard that. Shut up. I've never argued like I did that first year, and I've made it a point not to because of how stupid I ended up looking because I was wrong. Like in the heat of a moment, you better be sure you're right. Because if you're not,
but you understand, and that what the ump said, no one's ever apologized to me before, is validation of what I'm allowed to say, which is that you understand every other guy, even that moment, we're dumb fucking apes, and even that moment when he realizes he's wrong, he's not gonna change course. You're too far in it. You're too far in at this point.
Right. It's like that's I'm glad I stopped myself because I'm sure everyone else is like, they realize they're wrong maybe, and then they keep going. It's like, no, I'm
like,
too young.
I'm committed to being mad now.
Right.
So.
It's like for me, I'm always like just the way my brain works. I'm like, I want to know, like, it bothers me when I don't know something that I feel like I should. So I think in that moment I was more mad. I'm like, what are you saying to me? I've played this game for a very long time. What do you mean he tagged? He was right there.
It's not your
I'm like,
fault. He was speaking Chinese those first few times.
yeah. So I'm like, I'm
Just-
like,
just to-
did
just to
I
fuck
forget
with
how
you.
to listen to English that day? Like, what happened? It was great.
That's awesome.
Excellent. Well, that'll pretty much bring us to the end. That was a heck of a story to end on. So, Jordan, before you get out of here, is there anything you want to plug while you're here?
Yeah, of course. First of all, thank you both for doing this. This is such a unique idea. Putting together podcast rundowns are hard enough in themselves. So maybe I'll just start having the guests kind of try and help me do it. But really, really cool concepts you guys are doing.
We'll
I
sue
do
you.
appreciate having me on. But I do appreciate you having me on. Jay Lazowski 14 is my Twitter. Socks on 35th is the main one for the Socks on 35th blog. This team's getting better, but it's still hard to do a lot of blog work. So I appreciate Joe Binder, all those guys, everyone who puts in a ton of work to that site. And if anyone can go follow some of the guys and gals who are writing, please do so, because they do a lot of good work. And then Diamond Digest as well, a page that I continue to support, and I think Peyton Ellison on that side has more than taken up the brunt of the work there, because he's passionate about it and he has a lot more free time than I do. As I've learned, being an adult is hard. But Peyton and the rest of the team there do a ton of great work, and go support them if you want to kind of build just outside of the White Sox world of blogging as well. But I appreciate you both so much.
Thank you, Jordan. Really appreciate your time. For us, thank you everybody who watched. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys on Thursday for Askcast. Herb Lawrence will be joining us for that episode, so tune in, and we will see you all on Thursday. Have a good night, everybody.